Ukrainian President Zelensky says that he's heading home with good results after a whirlwind day in Washington.
I thank President Biden for assistance and for his international leadership and for his commitment to victory. I thank the U.S. Congress, to both houses, to all parties that support Ukraine, to all those who wish us victory as much as we wish it. The victory will come.
And one of those good results, a $1.8 billion package from the White House, including that Patriot surface-to-air missile system. The Pentagon says it'll start training Ukrainian soldiers to use the system very soon. Now, the Kremlin is not pleased with that. Spokesperson Dmitry Peskov wrote this: the U.S. constantly expanding the range and raising the technical level of the weapons that they supply to Ukraine does not contribute to a speedy settlement of the situation. On the contrary, this leads to the fact that the suffering of the Ukrainian people will continue longer than it could have. Let's discuss now with CNN commentator and former Moscow bureau chief Jill Dougherty. Jill, good to see you. So the Russian response to the visit and the new missile system is both muscular, where they say we are going to invest in new weaponry, we're going to increase the military by 50%. And then on the other side, there's this kind of whiny, well, they didn't talk about what we want while they were there. Put into context this response we're seeing from Russia.
Yeah, I think it's really important, Victor. And you're right. I mean, the day that Zelensky was here, Putin, meeting with his defense minister, was talking about really major reinvestment in the military, reorganizing it, increasing the numbers, new hypersonic missiles. And in fact, even President Putin himself said, you know, we need more drones and we have to put them everywhere. So there was a big emphasis on that. And then also, I think, in that kind of muscular messaging that you're talking about, he was saying, President Putin was saying, you know, this is a conflict with NATO. And we can answer NATO. We can fight anywhere. We can put as much money as is necessary into this. And then he even added, you know, war is tough. People die. It's really too bad. But better now than later. And then the other whiny side was, I think, you know, if you were President Putin, I think you'd have to be kind of, I don't know, hurt by the fact that there is President Zelensky on the world stage meeting with the President of the United States. And the imagery coming from the Kremlin was President Putin in the Kremlin behind, you know, in a suit behind a podium, a very kind of old image of a leader, whereas Zelensky is there, you know, in his fatigues, in that olive drab, looking very much like a wartime leader. Very different pictures.
Yeah, very different pictures, not as robust image of President Putin. Let me ask you about the Patriot missile system here. Every installment of military support from the West, from the U.S., comes with this threat from Russia. Sometimes it's nuclear, sometimes not. I wonder how they see the addition of this Patriot missile system. Of course, the Ukrainians think that this is a step forward. How escalatory do the Russians believe it is?
Well, I mean, let's look at what President Putin said today. He said, it's an old system and we can knock it down. So he's really, you know, dismissing it. He said that it's not as good as our S-300s. So I think, you know, that's his response, kind of dismissing it. What militarily they think, I'm sure, is that it is a potent system. Granted, there's only one battery at this point, but I think symbolically, and that's, you know, we're talking military, but also symbolism, it is a sign of the escalation of the aid coming from the United States militarily for Ukraine. So I would presume that Moscow would be worried about that. And hence, that's why you had the Kremlin saying, well, this is just going to create more problems and more suffering. I think all the message, Victor, coming from Moscow is this is going to go on for a very, very long time. And I would say that Putin has really upped the ante in this, definitely by what he said and what he did.
All right. Jill Dougherty, thank you.